Welcome to the AI Preview Show with me, Davey B, Dylan Fitzsimons and Bob McCormack. I'm going to get the lads' thoughts on the heats, first round heats of the Star Sports and TRC Events and Leisure English Derby. Fitzy, are you looking forward to the first round heats on Thursday night?
Yeah, Dave, I can't wait now. There's been a serious amount of Derby fever the last few weeks. I'm hoping to get over there for the first round, the 3 nights of the first round for a bit of work. So I'm really looking forward to it this week now. You know yourself, once you start to see a few prices chalked up on the Thursday night heats, it all starts to, it all starts the main business then. There's no backing out now. Now you have to be fully committed with your dog, and I'm sure everyone in the industry is really hoping that it's a success at post, that there's no hair failures or issues with the track, etc. that might have happened in the past. The sport could really do with a big pick-me-up derby, just like we had in Shelburne at the back end of September last year with the exploits in New Taylor, Ballymac Wild, Pistana, to name a few. It would be brilliant now if there's a few superstars really come to the fore in this derby, and it gives the industry something to celebrate as a whole.
Bomber, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, as we said the last day on the anti-post video, just looking forward to seeing the Derby Toaster. You're going to learn a lot more probably after the first round, what dogs can handle it, what dogs aren't. Look, there's a few dogs that are going to come into this undercooked, and look, they need a few races, but it will tell a lot, to be honest with you, the first round. I always think it does. And look, as Dylan said, hopefully Toaster's a success. To be fair, the last 2 derbies in Nottingham were great, so if they live up to the last 2 derbies, it's going to be a great competition, and I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. I'm just going to share the screen for the first heat. So in 1, we've got Johnny You Go, Romeo Magico in 2, Jim Star Elusive in 3, Fat Boys Exile in 4, Chipping Away in 5, and in 6, Swords Duke. Fitzy, what are your thoughts?
I'm of the opinion Romeo Magico can win this in whatever fashion he feels like here, if he produces any semblance of a level start. Johnny Hugo on the fence will edge off slightly. He's a dog that struggled to win races for a long, prolonged period at the start of his career. He's put that to bed recently. I had my doubts about him. I still think he likes getting after dogs. I think he's the perfect dog for a forecast in this race. I can't really have the outside 3 on my mind. 6 was a good dog for Graham Holland, but he was a bit limited in grade. His first start in England, it's a big ask run against dogs as good as Romeo Magico and Jim Star Elusive. Chipping Away is an A1 dog at Hove. He's done okay on the road at Central Park, but again, shouldn't be the class of the inside 3. Fat Boys Exile has only ever won an A4 down in Cork. Out of Away, Shelley, the good open class bitch from a few years ago. I'm sure he will make the grade in England, but it could just be a step too far, step too quick. I'm sure they would love to get a few maidens and win our ones under his belt in England before stepping into a derby heat. Jim Star Loose was the dog that there's been a big anti-post gamble the last 2 years on him, a long way before the competition. It's part owned by the legend Charlie Lister. Obviously, he's a very quick dog. I think he was plagued with an issue for a fair while. They left him off the track, Chris Ackers and co for a very long time. They've brought him back. They're trying to get him back into this year's derby. It's a big ask. He probably was last year's derby dog, but he does still retain plenty of ability, as seen in races of this year and in trials. I just think Romeo Magico might improve past him. I mean, for anyone who watched the Kirby preview videos know I was infatuated with this dog from the very first race I saw him running. A big striking white Son of Magical Bell. He's just so fluent down the back straight. It's unbelievable. He still looks like if that's the case, that's a scary prospect. He's a type of dog that could improve round to round in this derby and really become a derby contender in the space for a week or 2. I thought Jim Star Lewis was going to edge off, Magico will edge off, Johnny will edge off. It could be a bit of a domino effect, and he definitely has the best early pace of the inside 3. Semblance of a level start. See him to the front on the corner, and from there, he's probably going to win as far as he wants if he leads on the bend. I will play the 2-1 forecast. I thought if Johnny Ugo can get inside Jim Starloose at any point in the race, he should be second there as well. So I think the 5-4 offer for Romeo Magico is extremely fair. And if you could get a price to forecast 2 to beat 1, the inside normally runs quite well at the start of the meetings at Toaster. I'll be quite happy playing that as well.
Bomber, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I'm all over Romeo Magico in this heat as well. As Dylan said, look, me and Dylan tipped him up before the Kirby as one of our dogs. He was 100-1, and he won the first night impressively. He went out the second, but he went into the consolation stake, Sean O'Connor Cup, and he just did 28-18. I think it was on the track, like, and it was just an unbelievable run. Like, it was quicker than explosive boy in the round of the Kirby. So look, he's just a top class dog. He qualified in Tralee as a pup in 17:30 odd. He's just a machine, like, you know, and he's yet to put it all together consistently, but he's a raw pup. You know, he's a bit of a stop-start career. He went into the unraced stake in Tralee, and I think he didn't qualify. He qualified the first night, but he was withdrawn injured, and he went straight into the Kirby with, I think, one race. I think he had one race before the Kirby. You know, he's a lightly raced pup. It hasn't just gone all his way, but when he puts it all together, he's a machine. Like, you know, this dog, he's as quick as anything in the country. If he puts it all right, 28-18 Limerick. To be honest with you, I couldn't think of too many dogs in this race that could even get near that run. Maybe Jim Starloose, probably Jim Starloose in his heyday, but look, he has his injury problems. They said they've gotten to the Derby, but look, to see how he gets on. I hope he goes well, because when he was right, he was an absolute machine. I saw him running Nottingham a couple of times, and you know, he was as good as any dog in England, probably the best dog in the UK. But just look, injuries, they've played its toll. It's part of dog racing, and hopefully we get to see the best of him in the competition. I actually think Chipping Away is an interesting dog. If you look at his card, now, I know Dog Guesser, I think, beat him in the trials last day, but he does massive trials for his splits. Like, his splits are terrible, like some 3-4, like 440s to the bend and Toaster, like, but he can still do 29.60, 29.70 off them. Like, he obviously has ability and pace, and as Dylan said, he has ran in Hove and Central Park. Look, he can run, but look, I just think if Romeo Magic puts it all together, he just blow these away. I was delighted with the split he did the last day, 4-17. If he repeats that, he's going to be a long way in front of the bend. So I'll stick with Romeo Magico anyway for this one.
So the lads are siding with Romeo Magico for Heat 1. Moving on to Heat 2, we've got Burnchurch Mick in 1, Denmark in 2, Great Eastern in 3, Savannah Scrappy in 4, Springwell Sully in 5, and in 6, Drumcrow Brent. Fitzy, what are your thoughts?
I made this an absolute match race between top and bottom here. If the track is anyway fast, I think Burnchurch Mick could probably represent one of the best bets on Thursday night now. I'm extremely sweet on him. I think he's a dog that's simply waiting to do a massive run one night. From the Richard Rees kennel, obviously they know how to get one ready for the Derby. He did 30 seconds on his debut on Toaster, back the old Toaster. I think the track should only come on about half a second. Then he showed an awful lot of pace at Mummore in the Puppy Derby, and he cramped at the fourth bend, and he just stopped to a walk. He was eliminated. He was desperately unlucky. Like, he really showed pace. He beat Danet very comfortably before that stake in a trial. He was in Priceless Jet's race when Priceless Jet broke the clock, and he ran extremely well. He ran very hard to the third bend. Obviously, just had his heart broken. You know, and the dog's doing 29.10 out in front of you, and you have to lead to win. It's you're obviously not going to put your best foot forward, but he certainly didn't discourage his reputation that day. And then his most recent race, he was behind King Louis. Again, a good benchmark, but he was stuck outside the extremely fast Mr. Rude dog, Elite Fields. And he's not a 500-meter dog. He's more of a sort of short four-bend sprint type, and he just couldn't get around him on the bend. But he probably outpaced him to the bend, which tells you how quick this dog is to the corner. He's finally got his draw on the fence. Trialed well the last day. Two is a kind of dog. He bangs the box and then he's sort of devoid for 2.5, 3 bends. And he flies home. He's won over 6 bends before. He's a fast British bred dog, but if Burnchurch Mick does things right, I don't think Denmark can go with them. Great Eastern in 3 is, well, as it currently stands, an absolutely ludicrous price. I couldn't have him on my mind now. Maybe a year and a half ago, I could back him at 9-4 to win this heat. I think he could quite easily represent the 6 or 7 to 1 shot on the machine come the off. I gave 4 and 5 no chance. 4 is probably just a bit too inexperienced. I think he might just come a bit too soon for him. He's an awful lot of pace to clear as well. 5's a strong dog. Didn't think he looked in love with Tower in his trial. Won't be going to the bend with him. But I did think he might be a hazard for Drumcrow Brent, which is why I just sided with Burnchurch Mick and what I made at match race. So if Burnchurch Mick leads, I think he can do a big run here. If Drumcrow Brent turns second, it could get very tight. If Drumcrow Brent finds himself in any sort of trouble at the corner, I think Mick will be gone. I think this is the first chance he's had now in his season for the Derby to get on the front and put up a big clock. So I'll be very interested to see how he goes. I think he's 3-1 at the minute. I've put him in a lot shorter than that. I'm 7 to 4. He's probably the best bet in the Thursday night for me at that sort of price anyway.
So Fitzy is sided with Burnchurch Mick in Heat 2. Bomber, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I'll probably take Dylan on this heat. I thought that Drumcrow Brent is a seriously good draw in this race. Since the new traps have come in, I don't think one's the best breaking box. I think that the top has to. I think he has to trap. Like, he's done some seriously fast splits, but he's not leading races. You know, if he does a 4:25 or something, or 4:30, like, it's going to be a disaster for him. I just think Drumcrow Brent, the race is made for him. Like, he's not much pace in his inside. The 5 dog is desperately slow away. You know, if he's able to rocket the box and he's a strong runner. He seems to be, you know, he was one of the dogs for me, Drumcrow Brent. He was winning Trap 6 and Toaster when people said you couldn't win in Trap 6 and Toaster in the old track. And now the traps have changed. So it should play to his strengths. He's a very fast dog. He's ran well over 5s and 5s at Ramford and that as well. But look, he can run the track. I just think he's a great draw. And I know the top can run. He's very inexperienced for me, though. You know, he ran well a couple of nights, but still, likes a Priceless Jet, and that's still, you know, they did beat him a fair distance, even when he was doing quick splits. So, yeah, look, I'll take Dylan on this heat with Drumcrow Brent anyway.
So Bomber's taking Dylan on with Drumcrow Brent in Heat 2. Heat 3, we've got Swift Cope in 1, Bombardier in 2, Ballymac Brook in 3, Ballymac Kingdom in 4, Frankie's Jet in 5, and in 6, Dean Ridge Nimbo. Fitzy, what are your thoughts?
I'm of the opinion there might be a very good bet on the machine in this race. In Swift Cope and Trap 1, he was doing big runs to the 5th bend over 5.75 at Ramford. And I probably underestimated how similar the 5.75 at Ramford and the 500 metres at Toaster have been since dogs have started running at both tracks in preparation for the Derby. But I thought that Bombardier in Trap 2 and Ballymac Kingdom in 4 possibly just in this heat. And Frankie's Jet that he was trial the last day, he might just be a shade unders from what he should be. He's a bit hit and miss. But you know, I think Swift Cope is just a very underrated dog. But Ballymac Kingdom, he's certainly learned how to run from the middle a lot better, and he's probably one of my favourite dogs in training. He's different grade to the 5 dogs he's in with this heat. That's no disrespect to them. This is a dog that could do 29.40 in Limerick when the track was slow, and 32.20 in Shelburne in the winter. Like, he's an absolute machine when he's right. But at likely prices, I have a feeling Swift Cope could be a 5, a 6, 13 to 2 maybe on the machine. He's in against dogs that trap and don't particularly have the best early pace. If he can just nip up the inside, I never had him down as a railer, but watching his videos from 1, he ran the first bend beautifully from Trap 1, so I've no qualms about that now. If he can just produce his best start and hold the inside, I don't think the other dogs in this race will back run him. He's extremely strong over the trip. He did 29.30 a few weeks ago, and obviously, if Ballymac Kingdom got loose, that's race over, dial of distance, and you'll see the track record smashed. Like, but at prices, I'm very happy to side with the top in this heat.
So Fitzy is siding with Swift Cope in Heat 3. Bomber, what are your thoughts?
I think Dylan'll accuse me of copying him, but I also fancy the top in this race. I just think that the top is very similar to Bombardier or Bombardier, whatever you might call them. But they're great trappers, but they don't really have massive pace in the back straight or massively into the bend. They kick on again from the third bend. But I just think in Toaster, the way it is, if you can get out and get around them first two bends, you know, Douglas Swift Cope is definitely an example of it. He just bombs the boxes and then he gets around them two bends. And then when he's in front, there's not much of a back straight for dogs to really get at him, to run by him. And if he's in front of the third bend, you're not going to pick him up. He actually ran great with him a highlight Arkle last day. He came out through the bars. Granted, he didn't have the early pace of highlight Arkle, but he got a bit of trouble in that. And, you know, he was still involved. He ran well enough. I'm just talking about the same as Dylan, just prices. Like, you know, he's going to be a huge price. I imagine that Bombardier or Ballymac Kingdom are going to be pretty short prices. Look, Bombardier, he's a very fast dog. He's done some serious solo trials since the Kirby as well. I think he did 28-13 in Cork. It's just a top class run. My one problem with him is that he's a good trapper like Swift Cope, but Swift Cope just knows the track that bit better than him at the moment. And he's on the inside of him. Like, I just couldn't have Bombardier with him on his inside for this race. You could say Ballymac Kingdom has a good draw with them two alongside each other, but one thing with Ballymac Kingdom, I just don't know what way he is at the moment for me. I thought he ran disappointing in the 600-yard stake. He did a big trial before it. He's come back. He's trialled the worst of Downland's dogs coming back from the sprints in Tralee. And, you know, look, they've gotten there. He's a dog that he's had a lot of injury problems in his career, and they could just be catching up with him at this later stage. But look, they've gone over. He tried well enough the last day. I just don't think he's the Ballymac Kingdom that we've seen before at the moment. And I'm happy to take him on this heat because, look, if Swift Cope leads him, I could see Ballymac Kingdom come from massively behind him. Bar he got close to near the front. But Swift Cope's in front of the third bend. He's not getting picked up by any of them. So I'll stick with Swift Cope at a decent price this one as well.
So the lads in Heat 3 are siding with Trap 1, Swift Cope. Heat 4, we've got Vigorous Kevin in 1, Drum Do It Bruno in 2, Ballymac Gabo in 3, Great Name That in 4, New in Hero in 5, and in 6, Swift Edition. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
I'm all over Great Name. Not in this, it's just absolutely different grade to these. I'm astonished by the fact these odds against him, but with both firms that are priced up for, you wouldn't get 2 pence on with them. But like, I'd probably quite happily bet him at 10 to 11, 4 to 5. They have New in Hero in a quarter of a point behind them. I rate New in Hero to win the Gold Cup for a few prices down. Without a look at Toaster and over 500 meters, he's probably 5 or 6 lengths worse off than Great Name That. And that's no disrespect to any dog. Great Name That falls into the Ballymac Aerials, Ballymac Wild category. That if he got loose on a good track, no track record anywhere, any track, any country is safe. He's arguably one of the quickest in training. There's a fair bit of pace in this race, but I think he's nearly ideally drawn. Ballymac Gabo's trials are so poor. He's had graders running all over him and just struggling to pass him. Like he is going to the bend still, like he used. This is a dog that made the Puppy Derby final, claimed the scalp of Skywalker Barry in the semi-final. If he came back to form, he'd be a big player. There's no doubt about it. But from what my eyes have seen, watching the trials, he looks a long way off what he was. I know they're bringing him back, and I think Mark Wallace has gone on record saying that he's a long way short of where he'd like him to be. So, you know, that's just going to play into Great Name That's hands. He trialled extremely well in the 2 sprints in Tralee. Flew his first look at Toaster. I thought he missed the 3rd and 4th bend a little bit. He showed no sign to stand up on the corner like he did at the start of the year in races, which, you know, I imagine the dog is fast and it's quite hard to keep sound. Maybe just had niggly issues. I think they said he had an issue the week of the Easter Cup final. He ran below par in the final. He really propped them in the bends. And if Great Name That puts his best foot forward here, he could win this heat by half the straight. I wouldn't at all be surprised to see him go off 4 to 6, 4 to 7 come Thursday evening. And anyone who can get on the odds against, just make sure the firms have Trap 1 Vigorous Kevin out as an on-runner. I couldn't put anyone off. There's not too many better bets on Thursday night than Great Name That odds against.
Bomber, what do you think?
Yeah, look, it's just this great name that's race to win for me as well. I just think he's different grade to these, as well as Dylan said. Like, he's just ran with the best in the country. He's beaten the best. I remember him last year in the Derby as a pup. Like, he was a proper raw pup, and I think he won the first 3 rounds of the Derby. And he went in there. I think he broke 28 seconds in the puppy Derby. It's like, this dog is just a class animal. He's an absolute airplane in the back straight in Shelburne Park when he gets going. My one thing about him was he's usually a poor bend runner. He's massive on straights, but he's not the best bend runner, and that probably doesn't suit Toll. Just in this heat, I just don't think it matters. He's just that quick. As Dylan said, new and hero, if he was running like he was in the Ledger last year and slightly before, you could back him in the big price with his early pace, but he even trod on Clonmel the last day and did 16:30 on a good track. So, look, he's never been around the track either. I just don't know what way he is. Paddy McGable, he's actually a great name, that's brother. So you have 2 little comrades going head to head in this heat. He flew in the Puppy Derby in that last year, and look, he bet Skyrock Barry enough. Just for me, like, he hasn't ran since the Puppy Derby last year. So he's either had his injury problems. I actually don't know when he came over to the UK, but look, he just has his issues, obviously. But he hasn't trialled amazingly. As Dylan says, they think he's a long way off his best. But look, he has ability. I just think great name. That's just different grade, to be honest with you, same as Dylan. 4 to 5 is probably a serious price in this race for what he's ran with. Like, it wasn't too long ago, he was fancied to win the Easter Cup final against Billy Steva. That didn't go right for him. He had a bit of trouble, I think, during the week. But look, this dog is just different grade. Like, and hopefully we get to see the best of him as well. And yeah, look, I'm just all over great name. That I just think he's just an absolute certain this heat.
So the lads in Heat 4 are siding with great name that. Heat 5, we've got Outnumbered in 1, Lights Out in 2, Not Out the Way in 3, Goldie's Mabbit in 4, Russian Blake in 5, and Thorn Falcon in 6. Fitzy, what do you think?
I thought this was one of the most interesting races on the card. I think you can really dig deep into a few exotics in this race. Look, I could be made to look extremely foolish coming out with a statement like this. I don't think it's a huge price. We see Torn Falcon exit the Derby in the first round here. I know everyone has him down as a superstar. I have no doubt he's a top class dog. But the one thing Patrick Janssen wouldn't have wanted was a wide dog inside him. There was only one wide dog in the competition to have another wide in 5. And it had to be Torn Falcon, the leading English. Probably one of the best wide seed in the competition. And of course, the other wide inside him is one of the best early pace dogs in the competition, who has every chance of just slightly missing a kick and absolutely roaring to the bend up Torn Falcon's inside. No, Torn Falcon's a big 90-pound dog. He could just run over Russian Blake, but it's, you certainly don't want to be taking 4 to 6, 4 to 7 when you have a big dog that cuts bends, and he's going to have a bang wide runner ripping to the bend inside him. The way I want to play the race, I gave 3 virtually no chance. I don't think he's run as well as he was when he was putting in the big runs at Yarmouth and even Nottingham last year around Derby time. He just hasn't really come on. I thought he was a very good dog at that stage, but well, I think he possibly campaigned run over details. Maybe the 500 is just a stretch for him, but I was happy to leave him out. I'll probably have a small few quid on Outnumbered if he's a price now. He'd have to be a price. I was very disappointed with one of his runs at Shelburne. Thought he ran well this first run back, and the second run back thought he was a bit poor in a worse race, but he's a dog that's hard to keep right. The fact Marco Donovan's going over with him tells you they're delighted with him, obviously. His trial was extremely good. He was nigh on under the rails at all points. He's probably the tightest rider in the competition at times, so they'd have been delighted getting trap 1. And therein lies the exotics. I'll be quite happy to play 1-2-4, 1-4-2, 2-1-4, 2-4-1. Them sort of bets. We all know what Lights Out is. I think she's been marked awkward 2 or 3 times. She's quirky to say the least, but she has pace to burn. See, when she puts her nut down and gets after something, it's a joy to watch. And I've been quite taken with the Goldies Mabbit dog of Andy Pelly and Patrick Jensen's now. Obviously, Patrick would be of the opinion Torn Falcon would probably beat her 8 or 10 lengths, but I think this bitch has massive runs now. She's not shown yet. She beat a good dog in an A4 and posted 3.5 lengths. And she's coming out of the season. I've been quite impressed with her. I also think she likes getting after the dog in front as well. She's absolutely sprinting up the run in good graded races. I just thought if 5 goes up and runs off the corner, 5 and 6 could be out of the race. She's left to try and pick up 3. She's probably a 5-1 poke to do that. So, you can stake shrapnel there, and you could be looking at forecasts and tricasts that are triple figure prices. So, living at a 4 to 6, 4 to 7 shot. So, I won't throw much at the race, but I would definitely play in the race around 1, 2, and 4 and reverse forecasts and tricasts. And obviously, look, I don't want Torn Falcon to exit the Derby this early. You never want to see the good top dogs go out, but I think it's a treacherous draw. I'll be a big layer if he's odds on in the machine.
Bomber, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I thought it was a match race between the top and the bottom, to be honest with you. Like, Arca Donovan run this outnumbered dog into Derby. I was kind of shocked to see it, to be honest with you. I only thought he was a dog maybe they would have brought if they were going over with the likes of Skywalker Barry and that, and they didn't. They're sending this dog over on his own. So, look, they obviously think he's going to suit the track. He's an interesting runner. He trialled quite well the last day, to be fair. He's a very fast dog. I remember him when he was a pup. He won in Waterford in 28, 30 or 40 in his debut, and they taught a lot of him, but he's had a bit of a stop-start career as well. For me, I just don't think he's ever really done it in the top grade. Now, that's also saying, like, just that's what AAO and Shelburne Park and that can do to you in Limerick. So, look, he's a very fast dog if he puts it all together. To be fair to Torn Falcon, like, he was so a maiden Derby, and I know it's a maiden Derby at the same time, but he got some serious trouble and bumps, and he just rode them like as if he just brushed them off him. And he's a much better dog than I thought he was going to be. He won the first round in Enniscorthy, and he did 28.90. And look, it was a good run. I think it was the second fastest run to JT Wexford or something, but it was impressive. But I didn't think he was maybe as good as he has shown now, and he really has proven himself. To be fair, he's an early pace wide dog. Since the new traps have come in, it really suits Toaster. Much worries about Russian Blake, to be honest with you. I thought he ran poor enough in the arm the last day, provided now he got stuck in traps. He has massive early pace, but he doesn't get home in the back of a taxi. For me, he led Torn Falcon. He's just going to fall away in front of him, and Torn Falcon will do his own thing on the outside. I just think, look, if Outnumber can get in front, if 5 causes trouble for 6 early on and the top gets a run, he is a major player to win the heat. But at the same time, the top has a very little racing this year as well. He's going to badly need the run. You can try it as much as you want, but races are worth its weight in gold. So look, I don't see how you can oppose Torn Falcon. I wouldn't be jumping in and backing them odds on. But I just think this is a heat to watch. But I think Torn Falcon, he take all the beat in this race anyway.
Okay, moving on to Heat 6. We have got Look Like Power in 1, Savannah King in 2, Golden Tiger in 3, Bodie's Bullet in 4, Bandicoot Sammy in 5, and Jumeirah Sprite in 6. Bomber, what do you fancy? Oh, he's gone. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
I fancy Golden Tiger here. I thought he's just the wrong price altogether. I mean, on his Irish form, he should be plenty shorter than Savannah King, who was. Those days are gone up until last week, and Bandicoot Sammy. He was a Gold Cup finalist. He didn't put a foot wrong in the Gold Cup until the final. He wasn't a dog I know too much about an Easter Cup finalist. He wasn't a dog I know too much about going into the Easter Cup now, to be perfectly honest. But in the first round, he ran Knocknable Sig quite close, which was obviously a mightily impressive run. He really caught the eye that night. I think he's 9-4, 5-2 for this heat. I thought he probably represents more of a 6-4, 13-8 shot. He is liable to need the run, but he doesn't have too much pace around him. I mean, 1 and 2 aren't renowned for going to the corner. 6 wouldn't go to the bend. Great. Bandicoot Sammy's hit and miss at the boxes, and he was quite poor in Drumbo now last week. I mean, he wasn't even that impressive when he won the week before. I don't know that. I just wonder about him. How right he is coming into this. He ran well in the first round of Maiden Derby, but I just he didn't set the track alight last week. I don't think he probably wants to be as far out as 5 either. He might be looking to come across. So I just thought any semblance of the same start that Golden Tiger produced in his trial, he'll lead into the bend, and if he leads into the bend, he'll win this heat quite comfortably, I imagine. I thought the inside 3 to qualify, so I'll probably play 3-1-2, 3-2-1, and I'll back 3 to win the heat as well. I thought it was quite a straightforward heat now.
Bomber, what are your thoughts? You're on mute, Bomber.
Sorry. Look, I'm all over the Irish dog again here. Golden Tiger. I just think his split the last day, his first trial, 4:15. Stillen said he was kind of a surprise in the Easter Cup to most people. Like, I didn't know about him really either. I know he ran around Shelburne in a couple of 525s, but he went into the Easter Cup and he just, he impressed people. He was really impressed. Like, he just ran with the top dogs as if it was nothing, like, and in that grade, you can tell you it's not easy to do that. And to be fair, he hasn't ran, I don't think, since that, but he's a well-minded dog. He's a very fast dog. He should come on massively from his trial. I think he did 29.90 or something the last day, but I wouldn't mind that. He could easily find 30 or 40 spots. As Dylan said, Bandicoot Sammy, I knew he could a bit over here before he went for the Maiden Derby, but at the same time, there's a reason why he was eligible for the Maiden Derby. He's not a top class Irish dog. He's a good fast dog, but I just don't think he's the AO grade in Shelburne Park. He ran very disappointing in Drumbo Park on Saturday night. They ran on the Tuesday, I think, and he ran on the Saturday, and he was beaten a long way by Drippy's Wyatt, who's a very fast dog. But for me, the overall clock, I think he only clocked 30.80 for the 550. It's a long way off what you want to be. I wouldn't be massively going in back on him. To be fair to him, though, he did run well the first night in the Maiden Derby, but I just couldn't be having him on the way he ran last week. Jeremiah Sprite is an interesting dog. He's a very fast dog, and he's done some good runs in England. He actually ran in a great race with Candyman, and I think it was New and Jacko on that the last day. And he came out through the bars, but there's just too much pace in his inside. But he's well able to box this dog, and he can run. And if Bandicoot Sammy's not up to scratch, he could put a good run in. If he repeats that 4:16, he's going to be up on top of them at the bend. Looks like Power is a fast dog as well. He's probably not the force he was over a year ago, but he's still a consistent dog. But look, I just think Golden Tiger, he does need the run, but I think he might just get away with it in this heat. Those days are gone. Look, he's been sold now. He hasn't shown me a lot in races that he's a seriously top class dog as well. I think they turned good money down from the sales, but look, they've obviously got what they wanted from him now. He could run well, but I'm happy to take him on with Golden Tiger in this race anyway. So I'll copy Dylan again. I'll go for Golden Tiger.
We'll see you copying Dylan, my friend. Heat 7, we've got Jazz Toes in 1, New in Session in 2, Bramble Toby in 3, All About Ted in 4, and Racket Hall Leo in 6. Fitzy, what do you think?
I thought this was quite a straightforward heat, to be honest. It's between 2 and 4, and I mean, if you race them 10 times, New in Session probably wins 7 or 8 times out of 10. Jazz Toes is a very small up Known Sessions inside on the corner and causing them bother. And if that's the case, that brings All About Ted into the race because he's guaranteed a solo out in the middle. But it's hard to know what way All About Ted is. He trialled very well for the sprint yesterday, but he's had 2 races in 7 or 8 months. And his last race was nearly 9 weeks ago by the time the first round's going to come around. So he's liable to need the run. The Racket Hall Leo dog was impressed from the first round in the Kirby. I think I jokingly said to someone on Twitter that he'd be a great dog for Toaster as a wide running 40 kilo dog. He's probably the complete opposite to what I'd look for if I was to buy a dog to place. But he handled the track all right in that A4 the other day. He in some now when he's entered in the Derby and he did 28-30 in the first round of the Kirby. I'm annoyed I never saw him running that, but he's going to be 25-1 in this heat. I think Noon Sessions 1-4ish. It's probably a bit skinny. I thought he represented about a 4-9 two-zone shot, just with Jazz Toes likely to get up his inside off his best start. Session might be made to work for the bit. Look, he's a seriously fast dog, but he has been exposed before at times when having to pass dogs. If All About Ted managed to get out in front of him, we know the nuances of the third and fourth bound at Toaster and having to pass middle to rails runners. Noon Session might not have it all his own way, but it's a heat he's going to qualify from. So that's all Graham Holland and Simon Taylor all want. You just want a clean passage through to the next night, and I'm sure he'll come on a fair bit for the run as well. So look, it's a heat for watching. You have a big anti-post, one of the big anti-post dogs in the heat. And I think All About Ted's 100-1. Bomber put him up the other day. He's a dog I really like. It's a bit frustrating. I haven't seen too much from him. He's only run twice this year, but I think he can go deep in the Derby. I'm looking forward to see how he runs on Thursday night.
Bomber, what do you think?
Yeah, look, All About Ted, he's one of my 3 anti-post picks. Look, he's a very fast dog. As Dylan said, the problem for him is that he's just had no racing. Simple as that. And for me, I'm actually delighted he's in the 5-dog heat because he just needs that run under his belt. Now, saying that, I don't think has the ability, if they ever met in a head-to-head race, to beat New in Session. I think All About Ted actually wants to be in a race full of better dogs when he's right and he can get out in front and they have to try and beat each other and he's away and gone. Look, I think you're mad to take New in Session on this race. I think you're mad to back him at 1-4. I think I seen this morning he was quoted that. It's just that kind of race. Jazz Toes, grand, very good dog. He's a Saturday Night Shelburne Park dog, but he's not a top class dog in Ireland as well. He's able to run, but for me, he's just not the level of New in Session and even All About Ted. Racket Hall Leo, as Dylan said, I wish I knew he was in an A4 as well because I would have been backing him as well. Dylan tipped him up, I think 8-1 in the first round of Kirby. I couldn't have him that night. He's a 90-pound dog, but look, he just was different grade in his last race. He has ability. I don't know if it's 3 or 4. I think it's a 3 or 4 to qualify, but look, he's a good chance to qualify from this heat. As 3 is a bit of an optimistic entry, running A2s in Newcastle. Look, it's just one for watching. I think you're going to see the best session. I think New in Session is going to probably he'll either lead or turn second to All About Ted. I just think All About Ted could collapse in with New in Session. If New in Session turns second to him, even in Toaster, he's going to badly need the run. I could just see New in Session coming out and doing an absolutely huge run. This could be the day. This could be the night that he breaks 29 seconds in Toaster. But I wouldn't just be getting overly excited if he does it because you have to know this race, it's a 5-dog race and it's an early pace race. If he gets loose, he should blow these away in terms of overall ability. For Ed, it's just about qualifying and getting through this round and hopefully he comes forward again. But if I was picking one to win, you have to pick New in Session. But I just couldn't back him. But I go for New in Session if you had to pick a winner. But I'm on All About Ted for the anti-post, so I'm sitting on the fence a bit here, but it's just hard to choose.
Right then, moving on to Heat 8, we have got Permanent Smile in 1, Mingler's Popeye in 2, Cooler Vanny Kaiser in 3, Mountain Sweep in 4, Chelm's Prince in 5, and in 6, Priceless Jet. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
I thought Priceless Jet's been sort of gifted a heat again here. I don't think it'll be as easy for him as his odds are likely to suggest. I think people might get carried away with his track record breaking run, which obviously Warzone Thomas since bettered. But Priceless Jet's a dog that has found a way to get beat in bad races before. But when he does it right, he'd be nigh on unbeatable in a race of this class. And I thought he's well drawn here. 5 doesn't go to the bend at all. Mountain Sweep in 4 is a middle seed, but I think he's probably a tricky dog to seed. He doesn't want trap 1. I don't think he wants trap 4. He strikes me as an ideal trap 2 and 3 dog. He was I mean, he was even edging left from 3 on Swindon. So he's going to give Priceless Jet all the room in the world if he can get ahead of Chance Prince. So it's appreciated before he was sold at the sales. I think he made $9.5 or whatever it was. So obviously, plenty of people will be keeping an eye on Chance Prince and hoping he can go well. Anyone who puts their money in their pocket and buys the top lot at the sales deserves all the luck in the world. Kulavani Kaiser in 3 has been an extremely good dog for Connection since he's went to England. I was always of the opinion he was probably a grade below the best in Ireland. I thought he got exposed a bit in the Irish Derby, although he was an unexposed dog at the time, and it was a big ask. Down the back straight, he was just getting left for dead. And then he went to the Tipperary Cup and he showed massive pace down there, which he really bought out of. I think he's made 3 Cat 1 finals for them. Look, will he make a Derby final? No, I don't think so. Could he go a few rounds if he started hitting the lids? Most definitely. But Mingler's Popeye is probably the worst dog for Kulavani Kaiser tapping his inside. He's a Gold Cup finalist, Ledger semi-finalist. He has big runs littered all over his card in Ireland. He's probably not shown his full ability in Newcastle. Now, he won well in his maiden. He won very well, but he can definitely better that. His trial time was moderate at best, 30-36 around Toaster, but he's the kind of dog he likes the rough and tumble of a race now. You know, he's liable to bang the box, get out in front. If something comes at him, he just pulls out another neck. You know, he looks like he's passing, he'll come back again at you. I don't think he's ever going to put up big solos anyway, but if he leads this race and Priceless Jet turns second, there probably won't be a massive amount in the finish. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if he can keep Priceless Jet to a length or two, even though Priceless Jet's probably 6 or 7 lengths quicker than him on the clock. So I might play the 6-2 forecast, very small, but if Priceless Jet's a silly price, I'll just watch the race and enjoy watching another top dog hopefully sail around the outside, put up a big clock for the night, get a bit of excitement going again.
Bomber, what do you think?
Yeah, look, this is just a race for watching for me as well, to be honest with you. If Mingler's Popeye wasn't in the race, I would back Kulavani Kaiser because I think you get him at a great price. As Dylan said, I think Price's Jet is a dog you can always take on. You know, he is a bit of a character for me. When he puts it all together, he's very fast. He has massive back straight over in Shelburne Park. I was kind of surprised. I didn't think he has the same kind of profile as great name that I didn't think he'd suit Toaster, but look, he went out in the 29-11 or whatever it was tonight. He did, broke the track record. He's an exceptionally fast dog. He always was. Look, this race isn't massively. There's not massive depth to this. The top's a non-runner, I believe, as well. Mingler's Popeye, he was a very fast dog over here. You know, as Dylan said, he was a Ledger semi-finalist. He was in the Gold Cup final. He actually came out to the bars in the Gold Cup final, and he actually ran quite well. And I think in the Easter Cup, he ran the first night, and it was great name that only caught him at the third bend and picked him up, but he still held on for a second. For me, he hasn't shown the overall ability he did over here. He's gone well to the bend, but he's just not doing the overall clock. He was tying up badly in a couple of races in Newcastle. His trial, the overall clock, 30-36. The split is fantastic. The overall clock isn't, you know. But at the same time, you know, if Kulavani Kaiser doesn't get well in front, he's a sitting duck for Price's Jet then. I just think, look, it probably suits Price's Jet to win this race. Same situation as last heat. I wouldn't be going in back on him at short prices. He's going to be probably very short. You could take a chance with Kulavani Kaiser, but he has to lead. You're backing him to try and lead 2, and then you're hoping he's going to hold on, stay in front of 6. So look, it's a heat for watching. I just go for Price's Jet, try and pick another winner. Look, it's just one for watching. I think, to be honest with you, I think 2, 3, and 6 they'll easily qualify in this heat. To be honest with you, I couldn't see bar massive trouble. To be fair to Multi and Sweep, he can run as well. I just don't think he's the level of some of these dogs. He could get the third place spot ahead of Mingler's Popeye if there was trouble out of Mingler's Popeye title. But look, it's an interesting race. I'd be interested to see what Price's Jet can do again in a race in Toaster.
Moving on to Heat 9, we've got Millhouse Allen in 1, Deadly Missile in 2, Signet Ace in 3, Bryn Hall All-Star in 4, and Chasing Landy in 6. Fitzy, what do you fancy?
I thought Signet Ace would just win. To be honest, the back end of this card is not very good for punting now. It's definitely a card I'll be looking to play a few bets in the first 4 or 5 heats. And I think there's 3 trees on shots in a row in Noon Session, Priceless Jet, and Signet Ace, and they all probably present 1 to 3 shots. I'm not going to be looking to try and get after them at them sort of prices. I've put Signet Ace in 1 to 3 to 100%, and then Deadly Missile second in, and the rest are clubbed together. Well, 4 and 6 are clubbed together. The top is the top looks a bit out of his depth now, to be honest. I've put him in a massive price. I think he's moving off as well, which might not help Deadly Missile, but it's not a betting proposition. You have 32 races to choose from. I thought Signet Ace just has to not fall out in his face, and he comes out of the box and he'll lead this race doing handstands. He did 29.40 something on his last trial. He's liable to do probably 29.10 or 15. We all know the pattern with Toaster now. Later in the night it gets, the quicker the track gets. He's in the second last race tonight. He could do anything. I don't think he's a dog that should be doing fast, massive solos. Because he's not the strongest, but some of the clocks are just pulled out of the sky in Toaster. You're talking the track could be 7 or 8 lengths faster at the back end of a card. So I wouldn't at all be surprised if he pops out and does 29.15. I think he'll throw his name into the ring from an anti-post perspective, but if he got any sort of a trickier assignment the next night, his hat could be quite quickly thrown back onto his head. He could be taken out of the reckoning. So look, if you own him, you'd be absolutely over the moon. He's been gifted a heat to win. All he has to do is put his best foot forward for the first 10 yards, and that's the race. I was liable to follow him home in second. He ran up the Puppy Derby last year, but he's not held his form in England at all. I'm looking forward to see what Signet Ace can do. I'd love to see Deadly Missile return to form, because if he was 6 lengths off the third bend, he could catch him. But it's probably unlikely. So I think Signet Ace will win him. The race could be well and truly over after 5 strides.
Bomber, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I actually think this is an interesting race, to be fair. Look, Signet Ace, he's an exceptionally fast early pace dog. I remember when he ran his debut in Monmore in A1, he was an unraced pup, and he was a raw pup, and he went in, and I remember he destroyed a good field of dogs. Look, he's been hit and miss since then. I thought the world was at his mercy at that time, but he's still an exceptionally fast dog, and he's monster early pace. He's a real Dribby Stanil type from that breeding. He's out Forest Natalie. He's not a great trapper, but my God, he is some early pace when he gets going. He thought he ran a blinder the last day at Monmore, to be fair to him. He actually did a better overall clock than I thought he'd do a Toaster as well, as Dylan was saying. And look, he's an exceptionally fast dog. He actually ran great back in, I think it was the Blue Ray-Ban stake. It was the first big stake in Toaster of the old track before the new traps came in. And he ran brilliant the first night. I remember him with that. He fell out of the box, and he bet Trum Crow Brent and all them types. So look, he's an exceptionally fast dog. He's massive early pace. He's going to go off very short in this race. I just couldn't back him a short price, because I can never back a dog against Deadly Missile, because this dog is an absolute airplane when he wants to be. He's a character, to say the least. Like, there's people tipping Night Tornado to win the English Derby. Night Tornado has 27.88 in Shelbourne's card, 28.12. Deadly Missile picked him up like he was stopped in the Puppy Derby final. Scorca Barry led Night Tornado, and yes, when Night Tornado's led, it's probably not going to suit him, but he just ran by Night Tornado up the home straight in the Puppy Derby final, and he ran by Scorca Barry, and he was messing with Scorca Barry a bit into the escape, and we didn't see too much of the Irish Shores after. But look, he's an exceptionally fast dog. I thought he ran well at the start of his English career, and he's kind of tapered off a bit. He's had 2 very fast solo sprint trials, to be fair to him. You go back with a huge price. He could catch pigeons if Signet Ace got far enough away from him. He could go after him if you. Look, Signet Ace, he's a classy dog. If he does everything right, even if he should win this heat. To be honest, which Dylan said, if I owned him, I'd be disappointed if he didn't win the heat. To be fair to the Brian Hall dog as well, the Griffiths dog, he ran great in the maiden derby. He's doing poor splits. He's only doing 440s and that, but he can really run, this dog. it's interesting to see he was withdrawn from his last race lame, and he had a quick sprint trial. I think he had 16 seconds on the slowest track. Like, you know, it's 15:90. It's always a good sprint toaster at the moment. But look, I don't think he's the grade of these two, maybe, but he should qualify. I think he should qualify from this heat, and you know, he could go a few rounds. But look, I'll go for Signet Ace in this race anyway. But I wouldn't like to see Deadly Missile too far behind me.
Moving on to Heat 10. Confused me when it said Heat 1 in the top right-hand corner. We've got Drum Do It Bomber in 1, Shalom Milo in 2, Plaza Lep in 3, Bodacious in 4, Bugly Magnum in 5, and in 6, Smurfs Machine. Fitzy, what do you think?
I had no real opinion on this race at all. I didn't think it was the best Derby heat now, to be honest. They really didn't inspire me. I thought it was quite a trappy affair. So, look, if I'm in front a few quid or if I'm bang behind it, I'd say I'll more than likely find me at the bar when they're going in boxes for this. You know, I'll catch the end of the heat. I thought 5 and 6 are probably the wrong way around. 2 might move off for 1, but I couldn't have any sort of opinion on it now, to be honest. It's going to be priced tightly, and rightly so. The Drummed Up Bomber dog has really impressed me in his few starts at Toaster. He looks a real nice pup for Paul Burr. A pup you can really put in the van now and enjoy driving halfway across the country to run. If he wins this, you'd have to stand up and take note. An August 19 dog coming into the Derby. But I couldn't even think about having a bet in this race now. If I'd ranked it 20, 22 or so heats, I've priced up this far. This would fall right to the bottom of the category for what one I'd be willing to put a few quid on. So I'll leave it to Bomber if he has anything a bit more inspiring than that for anyone.
Well, hopefully Bomber's got an opinion, but he might struggle because he normally copies you.
I've no opinion on this race as well. No. I actually fancy Bubbly Magnum in this race, to be honest with you. I've been waiting a long time for this dog to do a huge run in a race because he does some serious solo trials. Like, this is a really fast dog. Now, to be fair, he's taken on Smurfs Machine, he was an English Derby finalist last year. Like, you have to give him credit where it's due, and he did some seriously fast runs around Swindon, I remember as well, a couple months ago now. But look, he's exceptionally quick. You always have to respect him. He didn't really run the track when it was the old traps, but now since the new traps have come in, I don't think he's ever really ran since the new traps come in, Smurfs Machine. So it could play to his strengths, but I just think if Bubbly Magnum leads him, you know, I just think he's every chance to win this heat. Like, Plaza Lep, he's a Nottingham specialist. He comes out through the bars, but no, I just think he knows Nottingham like the back of his hand, and he's a 4-year-old dog now. Like, he's a long way off his prime. The Drum Do It dog is a really nice pup as well. I agree with Dylan. You know, he's run some really nice races. He's done 29.40, a couple of fast runs. You know, he's an exciting prospect as well. He could be one of the shock dogs maybe in this year's Derby, the up-and-coming dogs, which, as lads say, the UK probably need a couple of springers to cause a few shocks in the Derby. But look, it's probably not the best betting heat, but I just think it's an interesting enough heat. I go with Bubbly Magnum. I just think there's a huge run in him. Like, I just hope this is the heat he puts all together, because he does as fast as solo trials as any dog around, and just waiting for the penny to drop. And I just think this heat could be the heat for the penny to drop, provided he has to beat a Derby finalist in 6. But yeah, look, I'll go for Bubbly Magnum at this heat. I think he'd be a decent price to back as well.
Well, that's Thursday's heats 1 to 10 covered. Lads, as always, I appreciate you coming on the show. Bomber, I appreciate you getting your internet working. And we'll be back to cover the rest of the heats tomorrow.
Cheers, Davey.